bet I'm doing real good.
I think it's petabytes. Does that sound right?
Oh shit.
Have you guys stopped and started that so we can? Will you stop it and start a new one so they're not so big?
I'm kidding. I have every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
Oh, every 5 minutes? Okay, thank you.
Best camera crew ever.
Are you paying attention?
No.
Just to the camera.
Amber's the best at it.
Yeah, she's good at it.
She did like 400 matches at regionals.
I know, I watched her.
This is what you had to do the whole time, huh? God.
She probably had sore arms.
I'm getting sore arms. I've been doing it for 10 minutes.
Here's a little stand.
No, it's fine. I'm just kidding.
Didn't work that great, right? But it was okay. You kind of used it, didn't you?
Me?
You can kind of hold it and drive it a little bit if you want to put that on there. Okay, so computers are measured with bytes, and that diagram on page 260 helps you see how a computer actually recognizes them. The kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, now down to analog and digital.
Like this?
This is a short conversation because computers are completely digital.
Oh,
That's where the on and off comes from,
How's that
the
gonna
zeros and
happen?
ones come from. So computers are completely digital. But our United States and global phone systems are not completely digital. So when you send information through the internet or through the phone lines, that's why you need a modem. The modem converts digital to analog, goes through the phone lines, lands at the other end, hits another modem, converts it from analog to digital so the computer can recognize it. Okay, modulation and demodulation. Modem. You've learned something every day, haven't you? So, analog, in case you don't remember 4th grade science, I'm talking to you in analog. My voice is coming in waves to your ears. Okay, so computers do not speak that language at all. Computers only know on and off, and that's why they're fast, because they only have to add 1 + 1 = 0. 1 + 0 = 1. They don't have to think very hard. It's very simple for them to do that. That's why they can do so many calculations so quickly. All right, then.
I got a question about zeros and ones. Well, I know the binary numbers, but there is a certain amount of zeros and ones per section. Is that 8?
8. So,
So those 8 characters represent one character or...
one character, one letter, one something that you tap.
This the type.
This is my Barbie box that I had when I was a little girl. You're thinking now, how's she going to relate this to computers? But inside of it, I have the contents of one of my old computers that I took apart because I wanted to save it to show my classes.
You weren't going to show us your Barbie?
I could. I'll bring those another day. I have one vintage Barbie. So the main piece of a computer that you build from is a motherboard. Now this is from 1995. So this was a motherboard on my Gateway computer, which was the second computer I owned, and it was from 1995. So now I'm going to pass this around so you can kind of get a look at it, but please don't take this one apart. We're going to take others apart. Okay, but getting a quick look at this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the motherboard has memory, these perpendicular sticks, green sticks of memory, okay, and the processor is underneath this blue thing, which is a heat sink. A processor is like the engine of your car, so it gets hot because it runs a lot. All right, to cool your processor, you have a heat sink. So it's just metal tines coming up off of them. Some of them even have the metal tines and then a fan coming up off of them to keep it cool. Because if it gets too hot, it will just destroy itself. Okay, so those are the two pieces here, the hard drives on the side here. But let's talk about these. They look like receivers. I mean, they are receivers. You put integrated circuits into them. So here is an integrated board that is most likely a video card. by what's coming off the back of it is the VGA, the blue VGA thing, okay? So that's going to fit into the motherboard, and it's going to come out the back of the computer, so you can plug in the monitor to that, okay? This one is probably a, yep, it's my connection to the internet, so it even says telephone, phone. It also has a microphone and a speaker. So this is the sound card, and the modem also fits onto the motherboard and comes out the back, so you can plug your phone into it. Okay, this one has jacks for, it says line in, microphone, and line out. Sound card, making the noise.
Is that a VGA there as well? I mean, it could be.
This one's not VGA, it's for the joystick or the MIDI. Yeah.
Video sound card.
Okay. And then the other big three is the hard drive. Here was my hard drive. I have not taken this one apart, but you guys saw a bunch of them the other day. Okay, and this hard drive was 1 gig.
And that was huge.
I know.
I remember my mom's first computer had 8 gigs. And people are like, you'll never use it.
I know, that's, don't ever believe anyone that says that. You'll never use all the power you buy in your computer. Oh, yes, you will. And then I had a floppy drive for all my floppy disks that I told you I carried around. Okay, so that's the guts of my computer in my Barbie suitcase. And we're going to take apart a couple of computers and take a look at all these gadgets inside of them so we can kind of get an idea of what the guts look like. So what's next on the list? So looking at the system unit. The system unit is the box that sits on your desk or on the floor, or if it's a laptop or a mobile computer, it's all built in. Okay, so we looked at a motherboard. We talked about the processor. I should really take the letters CPU off. We don't even say that anymore. In fact, when I was growing up, this whole box was called a CPU, but really the CPU is a portion of what the processor does. So that's old lingo. Sorry, processor. The heatsink, and if you would like to see a video that explains this better than me and my Barbie box, then I've given you a YouTube link to do that. Memory is also called RAM. I want to make sure you know that. And we know that it holds what you're doing while you're doing it. So the terminology for that is called volatile. Okay, and I think, I can't remember now which class I say what to anymore, but what do you think is common for the amount of RAM that you need in your computer?
8 gigs.
8 gigs sounds good to me. Anyone think you need more than that? Yeah, videos or gaming or drafting, anything that takes a lot of power. Like, remember we talked about power users?
Gaming doesn't need actually all that much.
What doesn't?
Gaming doesn't need all that much.
Oh, I guess I was thinking like developing.
Oh.
Yeah, then it would, because then it's just video and movies kind of like.
Considering random access memory is wiped clean when you shut the power off, what is the hard drive's capacitance in terms of, not capacitor, I mean, not a capacitor in terms of that's just stored energy, electricity. How is the hard drive, what is its capacitance?
What does it do for
without
this?
energy stored to it? What is it? Because DC current is, like you said, either on or off, but it's holding a certain amount of capacitance while it's off.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that happening?
It's happening magnetically
Okay.
on the spinning plates that we passed around the other day that you'll see when you watch the video that you missed.
There is like induction or magnetic? Okay. I did miss that, didn't I?
And or hard drives that are solid in locations on chips.
Okay.
So that's how they stay there when you turn it off.
Okay.
But you brought up a good question, or you brought up a thought in my mind. The hard drive can make your computer perform better, and that's because if the computer is working hard and needs more memory, it can throw stuff onto your hard drive and leave it there so it's handy, and then access it more quickly.
So what's the DDR?
Double data rate, and the other one is SDR, and it's the I think it's the speed that they work. It's in this chapter, and if I keep talking about it, I'll mix it up.
That would make sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Magnetically, okay.
Okay, other things that you will see inside of your computer when you take it apart is you'll see the power supply, you'll see the drives, you'll see the adapter cards, like we looked at a few of them. And, I didn't point out on the motherboard, but there's also usually, or always, I think always, a battery, a watch battery, like a circular quarter battery. And that's actually just holding the date and time for you. And then you'll always see the different ports coming off the back of a machine, or sometimes off the back of those integrated boards. Okay, when we talk about plug and play, that is plug something into your computer and it's going to automatically work. And if you have any experience plugging stuff into your computer and thinking it's going to automatically work, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you plug something into your computer and it says, this needs a new driver, or it doesn't recognize it, or there's sometimes some fact-finding problems that you have to get through in order to figure out why it doesn't play. But what you're missing is an updated driver, and you need to know that term driver. A driver is that programming language that helps your peripheral, say it's a new camera, talk to your computer. And if the language isn't jiving with your computer, that might need to be updated. So, and let's say that someone gives you a printer and they don't have the CD that came with it. So you might have to go online to the printer company, maybe it was an HP printer, and go to the drivers and support area and find that driver, download it, and install it on your computer so that now your computer can talk to the printer. Okay, so the communication between a peripheral and your computer is called a driver, and think of it as programming.
So you're speaking software-wise.
Mm-hmm. But it makes the hardware work.
Well, there's also hardware drivers as well.
Right.
They're just switching devices.
Right.
I'm just looking.
Well, I guess I'm talking hardware, but it's the software that communicates between them.
Looks like a diode. Switch.
Oh, my legs are so fun.
So I don't forget, turn your paper over. And this is due on Thursday, and I don't think I have it on your website yet, but I'll do that right after class.
We don't have anything.
What's that?
There's nothing on the back.
No.
I got.
Yeah, that's it. You don't have an assignment. Who doesn't have something on the back?
What was it? Huh? Was it suicide trip? What do you mean? So freaking emotional. It's crazy. Well, I was dating her roommate. Yeah.
Someone probably doesn't have it.
You're right, right? Yeah. That's me, bro. See, we do though. We just tagging roommates.
Yeah. Flip it over. Okay, so this is super easy, but I do have some guidelines for you. It's called the Big Three, and that's how I'll list it on the my assignments list. It is only worth 4 points. I know that doesn't seem like enough to make it worth your while, but it's an easy 4 points, and stuff adds up, so please do this. So I want you to find an ad for a new computer.
Mac.
I had to add new computer to this because for the last couple of years, I've had people go to Google and type in computer ad, and let me show you what comes up.
Did you date her? Or did you just
not knocking my former students, but it was maybe me just not getting how important it was to go to a certain spot.
I think so. I don't know. I wasn't really sure. I found out at the end because
Here's
the
the
guy called me.
computer app.
Little white kid.
We'll go to images.
He called me, man. I was like, who is this? It's like,
Okay,
oh,
so far I'm not
this is
seeing
Kenny's
one thing that
boyfriend.
looks
Oh shit.
remotely new. What about you guys?
No,
Look at Butterbean.
Yeah, that Russell looks
Such a
great.
trip, man. And then this news when I came back.
So here's the one that I remember a student giving me.
Oh, why didn't you text me on the Christmas?
So this is
Was
not
I
a
supposed
Google
to?
assignment. If you're going to go looking to buy a new computer, are you gonna Google?
Yeah.
Don't. Where should you go instead?
Sorry, direct.
Okay, let's write some of these down.
Can you
Let's
just
write
type?
some of these down so
Good,
that
like,
you guys
say-
need to jot them
Say I
down.
want to do like a new Mac though. Like I know what computer I want to do.
Okay,
could
so
I
then
use-
you go to Apple, right?
Oh, okay.
Apple.com.
Oh, okay.
So Tiger Direct. And you said Newegg?
Aileen Ware.
Craigslist.
Please don't.
Craigslist.
Best Buy.
You should be writing these down if you're gonna be
Toshiba
looking.
Direct.
Yeah.
What direct?
Toshiba.
Okay, so if we're talking, you can go straight to the maker. So what are some other computer makers?
Gateway.
Gateway's actually owned by Acer.
I think Gateway owns Acer.
Sony.
I don't know, it's been a while.
Extra credit if you figure that out. Who else makes computers? Samsung?
Sanyo.
Really?
NEC. I don't even know if they're still in business or not.
Oh, IBM was purchased by Lenovo.
There's a company in China that makes all these, and you can buy a computer directly from them for like a third of the cost.
Okay.
Roommate, fuck.
Dang it.
Damn,
If you
those
wanted
two
to
would
make
wild
sure
out
that
all
your
the time.
computer, I was
I
gonna bring this
know.
up before, if you wanted to make sure that your
Damn.
computer was manufactured in the United
Crazy.
States,
Crazy.
Nuts.
it's not happening.
Dell used to be made in Ireland.
I mean, some of the, Dell is headquartered in Austin, Texas. HP is headquartered in Fort Collins, Colorado. But most of the companies that build computers are not headquartered in the United States. So it's really a hard thing to find a computer that was built, manufactured in the United States. Just like if you take apart your car, the parts in your car probably weren't manufactured completely in the United States either, so.
Fuel filter, I just bought it. It says China
Listen, was
I
a
changed the headlight wrap on my Harley.
Adele was so
No,
much
ours
stuff
says
that I should
Make
have let that
Uh-huh.
man.
Stamped
It's
right
a
on the
trip.
headlight
She
bracket.
was crazy,
I
man.
want-
It's the craziest girl I've ever met. Period.
It's a hard thing to do. Okay, so that's your assignment for Tuesday. The last thing that we're gonna do today then is take apart a couple of computers.
No.
So, what we're gonna do is, let's have